My professor really brought a coffin to class to say, your test scores had me dead. PACER test, banned for child cruelty. I want compensation for my suffering. This teacher helped save her student's life by donating her kidney. My teacher marks me absent when I'm in class. What is an extreme sport? Doing your homework while the teacher is collecting it. Student punished after putting high school up for sale on Craigslist. This is what we've come to. I feel bad for the class of 2020. This looks like a funeral. Two types of people going back to school. It's my first day of kindergarten. I hate school, and I refused to hold a sign unless it said I hated school. Teacher really used to hype us up at the end of the year party just to serve us this. I took a picture of my son getting an award with his teacher, a school in Russian prison. It is nice that they let her keep teaching. Man, I hate this school. I'm just trying to take a poop. I just saw this in my morning class. What the hell is going on? Literally me in class. This dude skipped class to stream, and someone told the teacher, so they started watching him. There is a student in my class who likes to draw a cat of the day. One day, that student wasn't in class, so our teacher drew on himself. There was this girl in my class with the lettuce on her head, and I said, excuse me, and she said, I have a boyfriend. Okay, lettuce head. Today in a Zoom class, my professor casually mentioned her cat, and one brave student spoke up. Teacher missed her students, so she knit 23 adorable dolls to represent each of them. Student's response to new teacher's proposition, okay, I don't care. If the girl with 4 highlighters and 78 colored pens says she is screwed for a test, then you probably are too. A 9-year-old kid apparently got caught selling hot Cheetos for 25 cents in bags at school. A couple of weeks ago, we had an icebreaker during my graduation seminar, and the question was, what is your irrational fear? My answer was, hammerhead sharks. It's actually illegal for teachers to keep the class after the bell as a punishment. It violates the laws on collective punishment. Lifehack, just accuse your teacher of a war crime. They copyright claimed the exam review of my online class. I literally cannot study for my test. The girl in my 3rd grade class that told everyone she was part horse and ate grass at recess is engaged, and I have been ghosted 4 times in the last month. Much to think about. When you shake laminated paper and it does the thing. Exactly. Today, the student debt crisis has reached that number. Damn, only 3 students owe money. I used to be in class, like, got 40 minutes left, 2 20-minute halves, just gotta get through 10 minutes 4 times. Imagine waking up for an 8 AM class and this is what you walk in and see. He got up extra early to make a holiday class a little fun. Be nice and respectful for what he's doing. When an 8-year-old boy saw that his autistic classmate was having a hard time adjusting to the first day of school, he held his hand and let him know that everything was going to be okay. How do I explain to my professor that the reason I did not show up to class is because in my dream I woke up, checked my email and saw that class was cancelled, and I believed it. One of my fondest memories of community college was when I answered a question in class with my laptop open and the professor was like, you didn't know that, you looked it up, but the guy sitting behind me yelled, no she didn't, she's looking at anime. Today, in math class, I had the urge to fart. I had the bright idea that if I dropped my textbook and farted at the same time, nobody would hear it. I dropped my textbook, everyone looked at me, then I farted, loudly. Ping, 398 MS. I'm not a former gifted student. I am still gifted. Put me in a 4th grade class. I will annihilate all of them, like I did the first time. Can Kahoot fuck off with the bright red screen after I get a question wrong? I don't need everyone behind me knowing I'm a fucking idiot. I've asked this girl in my math class for a piece of gum every day for the whole semester. Today was our last day and I asked her for gum and she gave me the whole pack as a parting gift. If this ain't the smoothest thing I've ever seen. One time in 3rd grade I was playing tag and I tripped and fell down a hill and I just kind of laid there in my own blood for a few minutes face down, and these boys came up to me and were like, is it dead? Should we hide it? A crow tried to go into our classroom and he had a pen. He's more prepared than half of the kids in my school. School doesn't even test your intelligence, it tests your memory. It tests my patience. It tests my ability to hold my pee. Schools are closed for quarantine in Japan, so Japanese students are holding a graduation ceremony in Minecraft. This kid in my class made a death joke, and when a bunch of people said, that's not something to joke about, he said, no, it's okay, I have depression, it's like the N-word. Gave my students a pop quiz today and learned something new. If you make all the answers to the questions C, you will see 35 of the most hilariously panicked and confused faces in the world. I learned today that a group of students used a Google document to take lecture notes. They all took notes simultaneously in a collective file. Schoolboy's drawing helped police track down man trying to get into school. Mr. and Mrs. Walker, there will be no school this week, so Colin can stay home and play video games. From Mrs. Teague, I am the teacher. You know the exam is going to be lit. When you see this on the cover sheet, crying is permitted as long as you do it quietly. Sharpening a pencil at the bin was the childhood equivalent of taking a cigarette break. Kids working together to create eternal recess. Community. I just got my acceptance letter from medical school. So happy right now. A new shape called called the Scutoid had been discovered in our souls. I'm so glad I'm done with high school. Imagine having to find the area and volume of a Scutoid. So I matched my professor on Tinder. Hey, I'm in your Wednesday lecture lol. I'm well aware of who you are. I'll do the deed down for an A in class. Excuse me. So chapter 2 is due next class. A school full of vampires. Saudi Arabia accidentally prints textbook showing Yoda sitting next to the king. I was the type of student who hated this side but loved this. Future schools are going to need a whole class made in order to understand this. School's going to be crazy. Mr. White, late lunch. High school quarterback keeps his promise from 7 years ago. Takes his friend with Down syndrome to prom. There should be a camera in every classroom and any parent should be able to access the footage whenever they want to find out exactly what teachers are saying to their kids. Teen who identifies as a cat allowed by school to act feline, not speak. Favorite high school memory, leaving. School is starting again soon, so I'm asking all drivers to please watch for us, student pedestrians, and hit us at full speed. Thanks. Rides into battle on a gym class butt scooter. Runs over fingers. Mission, goddammit. You know how people say that the older you get, the smarter you are? You're now older than when you first technically started reading this, so I made you smarter. This new generation will never experience the, okay, show me where you're stuck on. Me, pooping in a school bathroom. Me calling my mum, telling her I got suspended for throwing a jar of peanut butter at the nut-free table and yelling, bombs away. 2 9-year-old kids cut their teacher's Wi-Fi so he doesn't send any more homework. I'm dying. My sister has detention on Teams. They have to sit in silence with the camera on. I paused Kung Fu Panda at the perfect moment when your math teacher is moving on to the next chapter, but you still don't know anything. French schools are asking parents to stop throwing their children over the fence when they're late. The person who invented homework was an Italian teacher named that name. He invented homework in the 1900s as a punishment for his students. Fuck you. This is the best pen ever. Let's argue. Drawings like these in textbooks are one of the things I miss the most from school. You son of a B. I told you I would do it. You're next. Class photo. My eyes were closed. Photographer physically cut and pasted someone else's eyes on top of mine. 10 out of 10. Actually, the class system in America is never been to Disney. Went to Disney once or twice. Goes to Disney annually. When a Georgia college student could not find a babysitter, a professor volunteered to hold the baby while teaching a 3-hour anatomy class. A guy in class got called on to answer a question, and after a short pause, he says, hang on, I'm not dumb, I'm just panicking. And I felt that. The guy next to me felt that. Your mum felt that. The whole world felt that. There's a girl in my class who's been carrying this 6x6 Rubik's Cube since the first day of school, and today she finally finished it, so we all started applauding her, and she was so overwhelmed that she ended up crying. Is this appropriate for a teacher? What is she supposed to do? Leave her body back at home? Today, a kid in my drama class got detention, but he pulled out a Monopoly get out of jail free card out his wallet, and my teacher let him out of it. How do you get detention in drama? Long story short, he kicked the ceiling by accident. How do you kick a ceiling by accident? A group of girls said a male classmate assaulted them. He was escorted from school in shackles, charged with crimes, spent an entire summer indoors with an ankle monitor. Finally, the girls admitted they made it up. They didn't like him. This girl next to me in my class offered me a sip of her drink because I mentioned that I was thirsty. I was not expecting to take a sip of vodka cranberry at 9 a.m. My 6-year-old brother's teacher asked the class what's their favorite seasoning, and he said garlic powder. The highlight of my day was my teacher bringing his cat to school, and every time he asked class a question, his cat would meow, and he would accept it as an answer. Someone in my Norwegian class didn't know the word for cowboys, so they called them American horse pirates, and I've been laughing about it for about an hour. I keep forgetting this dude wasn't from the 1700s. My new favorite thing is asking my class to share a boring fact about themselves. Today, I shared that I don't like mayo on sandwiches. One student puts both socks on before putting on shoes. Another eats a pound of turkey each day. I am marrying the boy from my 9th grade PE class in 6 weeks. I fell in love with his smile. Still in love with it 8 years later. My math binders are always red every year. I feel like math is just a red subject. Math is a blue subject, and I'm prepared to fight you over this. The only thing I learned properly at school. School has taught me how to hold my poop in for 8 hours. When you don't show up for Spanish class and your teacher is extra as hell. In elementary school, when we would read out loud to the class from the textbook, I would literally count the children in front of me and figure out what section I was reading so I could practice it before I got my turn to speak, and I think that's where my anxiety started. There was a really good looking guy in my class, and his Instagram was on private, so I sent him a following request during class, and he looked over at me, then denied the request. This man waits for his wife to get out of class every day. This freshman was like, I can't find my class, and we looked at his schedule and he's at the wrong school. I'm so dead. This isn't funny, but we brought 60 caterpillars for my classroom, and instead of growing it into butterflies, they ended up eating each other due to some kind kind of virus they had, and now I'm stuck reading books on the nature of death to help my students cope with the loss. I watched this girl drop her iced tea on my way to class, and the only thing she said was, "I am so sick of being alive. Somebody just rickrolled our class in a Zoom meeting. Why is this mannequin looking like he's waiting for the class to shut up?" Today, one of my teachers called on a really quiet girl, and the class was silent, and then you heard her whisper, "I have the bravery of a chicken nugget, please don't," and I couldn't stop laughing. Student life is all about books, coffee, and casual cozy clothes. I must have lived the wrong student life. So they really clothe school tomorrow. They shirt it down. That sucks. I was unaware of this. Sick of this school, bro. There is always that one weird kid in the class. POV, you make the substitute teacher have a mental breakdown. I'd be saying, "Oh yeah, I get it," just so the teacher can leave me alone. As a teacher, you're sometimes privileged to witness life moments. I saw a girl approach a boy and ask if he wanted her phone number. He paused, then pulled out his phone. Utter joy on the girl's face. I then confiscated the phone as it's against the rules to have it out in the corridor. Me, after seeing a fight in my school. Is this what private schools look like? Middle schools in 2001 be like, "Here's your bread full of cheese, and now go try to stay awake in health class." Schools after killing all of their students' interests, then blaming it on video game. Remove the word interest, then it will have a whole different meaning. School lunch lady fired for feeding student unable to pay for $8 lunch. What? High school is in real life versus in Netflix shows versus in anime. 13-year-old boy kicked out of history class after claiming the F in John F. Kennedy stands for Fortnite. In high school, our gym teacher asked us who we thought the smartest teacher in school was. We guessed the AP chemistry teacher, the pre-calculator teacher, the AP teacher, etc. The AP physics teacher. He goes, "Nope, it's me, because I get paid the same as those guys and I played dodgeball all day." The girl sitting next to me gave herself an insulin shot in class yesterday, and the girl next to her said, "Can you not do that right now?" She replied with, "No, Deborah, I would like to live. What is the most disgusting secret you're hiding right now?" In biology class, we were dissecting a pig's eyeball, and my hand slipped and the eyeball fell on the floor, and me being extremely lazy, I kicked it under a cabinet and it laid there for 2 years until someone finally found it. You did not get bullied for liking anime. You got bullied because you did stuff like growl at people in class and ninja run to the lunchroom. Please be honest with yourself. I will never forget when my boyfriend of a year broke up with me out of nowhere the day before a big statistics exam, but I vowed to never let a man affect my academic performance, so I walked in that class with tears streaming down my face and still got the highest grade in my class. Who remembers the temporary buildings at school that were up for decades? A student once asked Bruce Lee, "You teach me fighting, but you talk about peace. How do you do together?" Bruce Lee told him, "Spread peace, but whenever you see a boy making a TikTok on the road, beat the shit out of him." I go to a Catholic school. Got this out of an ATM today. I sucked a pee-pee for this. Stay in school. The struggle is real. This kid has his priorities straight. To get away with not having done work, I'm using a loading icon GIF to trick the teacher into thinking it just won't load. Third graders, when the class is reading a book and their name is one of the main character's name. Teacher sees student sharing a note. Why didn't you read that out loud? Dear teachers, this is an intervention. Your methods of discipline via public humiliation are uninspired carbon copies of Hollywood tropes. We wrote this letter as a class. This kid is 11 in my organic chemistry class. He said if we have any questions, just to email him. Eric Gomez. Education is important, but big biceps are importanter. Around 60 people agreed to stab Julius Caesar. At the end of it, he only had 23 stab wounds. Even back then, not all the members for a group project would do their part. Remember those kids in grade school who used their folders to hide their test answers? Well, they're vegans now. Blocking someone isn't enough. I want them to get lice. I once intentionally gave a girl lice because she kept throwing her long hair all over my desk in class while I was trying to work on assignments. I had asked her to stop doing it multiple times and she scoffed and kept doing it, so I picked one off of my own head and threw it onto her hair. A couple days later, she came crying to school with a bob. I do not regret it. What the fuck? POV, it's 8:30 in the morning. You barely got any sleep, and the popular girl starts laughing loud for attention. POV, you miss a day of school and all of the girls start saying they support you. One of the greatest joys you can have in life is knowing that orphaned baby orangutans go to jungle school every day, where they learn how to be orangutans. In a wheelbarrow school bus. My school sent out a warning about cougar sightings, and some kid replied this to the entire school. That's just my mom. In school, I'm so dumb. In college, I'm a genius. When you get cornered by the school bully, so you send one last text to your Minecraft girlfriend, but his phone vibrates. School district pulls To Kill a Mockingbird from reading list. Makes people uncomfortable, officials say. That's the point of the fucking book. I showed my students that I can say ABCs backwards, and a student shouted, "She is a witch." And then I unzipped my jacket and revealed my Hocus Pocus shirt. They all screamed. The universe has never been aligned like this for me. I remember when I was late to my primary school, and I would be like, "My parents made me late, and my teacher would say something dumb, like, it's your own responsibility to make sure you're here on time. Bro, I'm 7 years old. The fuck do you want me to do? Drive the car. My professor handed back our 3-page film essays. To my surprise, I got a C. After class, I asked her why. You were supposed to write it about the movie, The Emperor of Time. You wrote it on the Emperor, New Grove, but it was kinda good, so I didn't fail you. So that's how I'm doing. Back in university, a girl mocked my presentation, so one time I searched for her group and asked for the topic they were presenting on. I spent 4 days researching on it and asked her so many questions like it was common knowledge that she cried. Stay blessed, precious one. Teachers carefully making their assignments as boring as possible. I don't always have time to study, but when I do, I still don't. Me, presenting the project I finished the same day at 2 a.m. The school system, the bully, his victims, the kid who fought back, the cycle of English teachers. New teacher arrives, teaches for a few months, gets pregnant, goes on maternity leave, never comes back. Yeah, this is oddly accurate. So in my roommate's lab, one of her classmates has a service dog, and apparently service dogs also have to wear lab gear. Just look how cute this is. School counselors be like, this stays between us, then calls the cops. Middle schoolers when they get into an argument, saying every curse word in the English language. 10-year-old me, after accidentally calling the teacher, Mum. How I sleep knowing I was the reason why we did not win a pizza party in the 5th grade. Teacher, do not damage any parts on the PC or PCs. They are school property. Kids in the back. Will a PC survive 650-foot drop? Me in 3rd grade, watching the janitor toss all of the balls off the school roof. POV, you get approached by the weeaboo kid. This pencil sharpener sticker in my English teacher's classroom is grammatically incorrect. Please insert the pencil horizontally to avoid off-center, and do not push too hard to avoid not working. The teacher's internet, the while they explain the 36-step project that's worth 75% of our grade. Being disrespectful to teachers isn't funny or cool. They're doing their job and you're just being an asshole. My school teacher, no one said this job is supposed to be easy. The Indian guy on YouTube, no one said this is supposed to be that hard either. This reminds me of when a teacher told a migrant child who spoke little English to do 100 lines as punishment for some petty offense. The girl delivered a sheet of art paper with 100 straight lines ruled on it. OMG, y'all remember this. All schools were not created equally, because what is that? Damn, I remember teachers really used to put my desk outside the classroom. My ass used to be in the hallway, like, all classes are online now. Lunch ladies. Girls during art class. OMG, my drawing is so horrible. Teacher will give me a D. The teacher will surely use my drawing as an example of how everyone should do it. Engineers graduated from an online class be like, I just watched a girl in class look confused during the lecture, then literally open up her laptop and change her major. Took my 6-year-old to a classmate's birthday party today. He was the only other kid there. His parents thanked me for bringing him and said he was the only one their son wanted to invite because my son's the only one in school who's nice to him. Teach your kids not to be dicks. This is how my professor cancelled class this morning. Sorry again. If it's any consolation, I am, as the youth say, straight up not having a good time right now. Bill Gates wrote a class scheduling program for his school. He tweaked the program's code so that he was placed in classes with mostly female students. I spilled my whole coffee in class today, and the guy in front of me asked what kind of drink was it, and I told him. I looked up from my laptop at one point, and he wasn't sitting in front of me. Then, 10 minutes later, he comes back into class with my exact order. I'm crying. My mum has trained her unruly 5th grade class to respond, hear ye he, with all hail the queen, followed by immediate silence. I'm both appalled and impressed. This class is so boring, I want to leave. I'm sorry, but these 2 images make me laugh so much. Like, I just imagine, Mum, what are we having for dinner? Nothing, honey. There's an ongoing famine. Do you ever just have that one class, that one freaking class, that just depresses you when you think about it because, oh god, you hate it so much. Maths, when I used to go to school. The psychology building at my university. You survived another year. Have a bouncy ball. You deserve it. Graduating. Have 5. You may not be one of those fancy pants engineers with specialized jobs and skills and stuff, but hey, you've got like 5 bouncy balls. Student invents bacteria that eats plastic and turns it into water. One time in high school, my French teacher told the class that his grandmother died, and a kid in class said, Je regrette. And the French teacher burst out laughing and was like, you're going to want to say désolé in this context because je regrette means like, my bad. Had a crush on Ben after seeing him in my class. Strategically attended a party I knew he would be at. I approached him and said, hey, you're in my psychology class. And his drunk self responded with, yeah, you're hot as hell. And now we are in love. Middle school teacher left in tears after principal confiscates pizzas she brought for students to reward them for their hard work. My school disabled the no internet dinosaur game. School bans bags so boy turns up carrying books in a microwave. High school teachers, you could be be real with history teachers, English teachers, high school teachers that were cops, math teachers, gym teachers. Class be hitting different when you actually know what is going on. Arnold and his classmate, both 18 years old, a high school junior, stayed on Zoom after my finals today. He said, just wanted to do a vibe check on his teachers. Like, you're all checking in on us, but who's checking in on you? Well, you studied the Blade. I studied the Blade too. We were classmates. Hey bro, is there any Blade homework due tomorrow? A girl in my geography class had to bring her newborn to class today. The baby started crying in the middle of our quiz. When she took him out to hold him, my professor insisted that he wouldn't mind feeding the baby and rocking his car seat until she was done. This is my so awesome, sweet professor on his knees. Saw that my students submitted their assignment late at 2:48 a.m, so I didn't bother opening it and just gave them a 20 out of 20. I did this one time last semester, and my professor emailed me the next morning and literally said something like, don't take my class this seriously, always prioritize your rest and well-being should be your priority, not my class. High school kids during math class. In the hanging mass weighs 20 kg. What is the force on support AB? What is a kg? Romans 2,200 years ago. Time to build a 62-mile long adequate 2,000. What the fuck is trigonometry? So my calculus professor found this posted on the door to his office today by a student. I hate math test because all through the chapter it's like really easy, and then you think you've got it, and then the test is like, if I throw a triangle out of the car and the car is going 20 kilometers and the wind resistance is a thing that exists, how many cupcakes can Pedro buy with one human soul? Class concern. Hello Valerie. During our online lecture on Zoom today, I had noticed that you were drinking a Bud Light. I myself love Bud Light. I do not mind that you were having a drink. I am just concerned for the fact that it was 8 a.m. on a Monday morning. Just wanted to make sure everything is okay. Feel free to message me if anything is concerning you, as I am always here for my students. Dr. Pelez. Dying Japanese teachers, last homework assignment. Please be happy.